Everyone, my name is Autumn. Welcome back to my channel, and today I'm going to cover the story on the railroad killer. Now, if you can't tell behind me, I'm at a railroad crossing. This is the railroad crossing that is across from my childhood home. Okay, my parents live on the other side of that cornfield. So this happened to the mid to late 90s, just completely terrorizing all of the railroad towns, southern states, and certain parts of Mexico. Now what's crazy is I was in kindergarten at the time. I remember that I wasn't allowed to play outside. I sure enough couldn't do anything outside alone. Even when my mom would go to work, my dad would escort her out. So of course I was young, I was little, I didn't understand, but enough was out of the norm that I knew something wasn't right. Now about a year later, we are taking a field trip to the fish hatchery off of Route 3, if you know the area I'm talking about. And we're on the school bus and the kids look over to the right and they said, that's where the murders happened. And I remember some of us were like, the murders? And they're like, yeah, that's where those people got murdered by the railroad killer. So that's how I figured out that I was really close to something very awful happening to me and my family. Hi everyone, today I'm going to be talking about Angel Resendez, aka the Railroad Killer. Now Angel Resendez was known as the Railroad Killer because most of his crimes were committed at railroad crossings, and we're at the very one. He was suspected in over 23 murders in the mid to late 90s, all across Illinois, Kentucky, Texas, and even parts of Mexico. Now Angel was known as the Railroad Killer because most of his crimes were committed at railroad crossings or really close to them. He would easily get off and get back on, and he was terrorizing all of the southern states, primarily Illinois, Kentucky, Texas, and even parts of Mexico. And in 1999, he was even on the FBI's 10 Most Wanted list. Now, when Angel was on the FBI's Most Wanted list, he actually changed his name, and he went by Rafael Ramirez. The Railroad Killer is suspected of over 23 murders, and that's just of the ones that we know of. It could be even more. Unfortunately, some of his victims were a grandmother, a pastor and his wife, a kindergarten teacher, and unfortunately, most of his victims were raped and sodomized. Angel actually turned himself in on June 13, 1999, sadly just 1 month after the gruesome murders that he did in my hometown, going down these very railroad tracks. George Morber, 79, and his daughter Carolyn Frederick, 51, were sadly murdered on June 15, 1999. Their home was on a gravel road just 50 yards away from the Union Pacific Railroad tracks. Angel shot Mr. Morber with his own shotgun and bludgeoned his daughter Carolyn with the same weapon and brutally raped and sodomized her as well. The railroad killer took Mr. Morber's vehicle and took his truck where it was found in Cairo, Illinois, which is 60 miles south of where their home was. Cairo, Illinois was actually considered to be our country's capital before DC because of how good the transportation was between the two rivers and the railroad. So he was very quick to hop on another train and go another direction. He was convicted of capital murder in Texas, and he died by lethal injection in 2006. To know that the railroad killer was going up and down literally my bedroom window for a few years is absolutely terrifying. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe and tell me who I should cover next.